I'm Julie.
Hey, I'm Maria.
And this is Sparks of Madness.
Sparks of Madness is a storytelling podcast that illuminates the beauty of our experiences
while capturing those sparks that ignite what it means to be human.
What's a part of your story?
You can follow Sparks of Madness on Instagram at Sparks of Madness Podcast. Sparks of Madness is a part of the Trident network.
To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
I don't want to waste my summer at some camp. I'm Shane Gray, for crying out loud.
Hey, man, we used to love this place. 3 years ago, we were campers.
Yeah, man. This is where Connect 3 connected.
And you get to see your Uncle Brown.
Not a selling point.
Look, man, right now, you're the bad boy in the press, and the label has a problem with that, which means we have a problem with that.
Actually, I don't have a problem with that. We have a problem with that.
This camp thing is supposed to fix it. It's good PR, so do your time. Enjoy the fresh air. Get a tan.
Oh, and can you make me a birdhouse or something?
One word, payback.
That's 2 words.
No, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
No, Kevin.
Kevin!
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 Hey, Val.
Hey, Al. Hey, Zach.
Hi, ladies.
Welcome to DCOMmentaries.
Yay.
Thank you. Welcome to you. Welcome to our listeners. And welcome to our very special guest, Zach.
Yay!
It's me. I finally made it to DCOMmentaries.
You did
Yay!
it. Our
We
biggest
did
fan.
Zach, tell the listeners who you are.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, Ryan gives me a run for my money, but I think I am, without a doubt, the biggest DCOMmentary superfan. So I've been working for Disney for about 10 years. That's actually where Al and I met each other during the Disney college program. Yay!
Wow.
Let's see. I love Disney. I'm the oldest of 4 children, so like even after I grew out of Disney, Disney Channel was always playing in the background. So even when I stopped watching, these shows and movies were always going. So it was always a part of my life and something for me to love and hold. And yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Zach, what's your favorite thing about me?
Oh gosh, I'd have to say it's that sparkling wit and charm.
Nice. Yeah. And I'm super humble.
And so humble. I
So
love that
humble.
about you.
Yeah. Really known for that.
Oh, dear.
It's true. It's
Wow.
true.
It's
Zach
true.
and I celebrated our 10-year friendiversary last year. We met on the very first day.
We really did tradition.
Traditions. We met.
Wow, that's so cool.
Ring
We
and
have
Roberts.
Ring and Roberts. We ended up at the same table, and then now you can't get rid of us.
I know.
I'm still friends with 2 people who sat at that table, Zach and my friend Daniel. Zach's not
That's
friends.
awesome.
Oh
with
yeah, Daniel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 Crazy.
Crazy.
Wow.
Full circle, baby. And here
Full
we are
circle.
making podcasts.
Now we're making podcasts.
Just being creative. All about Disney. Well, if y'all are ready, we can dive right into the business.
Let's dive right into the
We
business.
sure can. Dive right in.
Okay. We haven't even said what movie we're talking about yet.
No, you haven't.
Well, we are talking about Camp Rock.
Camp Rock.
Camp Rock. Camp Rock came out June 20th, 2008. So they basically did no movies for the entire rest of winter and spring that year. They
Oh,
only
wow.
did Minutemen in January and then this one in June.
That's the only
So-
2 that year.
Well, yes, I think so.
Whoa.
Wow.
And it was
yeah,
2
let me
days
just-
before my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They knew.
They knew.
They knew. Actually, no, there was one more in 2008.
Okay.
Our next
So you
film.
just lied to us.
Great
I
first
said
impression,
I
Val.
think. I said I hedged. I said I think.
Okay.
And then I fact checked myself.
All right.
So give me a break. Anyway, it was one of only 3 movies that came out in 2008.
Wow.
Although High School Musical 3, which was not a DCOM, it came out in movie theaters, also came out in 2008.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where they were focusing their time.
Probably.
And resources.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. So they went 6 months without a release in 2008.
Okay.
Camp Rock was directed by Matthew Diamond, who I don't believe directed any other DCOMs. He was a pretty prolific TV director, or is. Some of the notables that he did multiple episodes of were Family Ties, Golden Girls, Gilmore Girls, and General Hospital.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
A 90s guy.
A 90s guy, early 2000s guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we have some familiar writers here. Regina Y. Hicks and Karen Gist, both wrote Jump In.
Oh.
And also will write Camp Rock 2 as well.
Oh.
But they both have pretty extensive resumes, which we talked about when we did Jump In. But just as a reminder, Regina Hicks wrote for Sister Sister, Girlfriends, and she was also the showrunner on The Upshaws and Central Park, the animated show.
Cool.
And Karen Gist also wrote for Girlfriends and was the showrunner on Mixed Dish, Our Kind of People, and Mike. So some power players.
What is Mike?
I don't know, but it's a show.
Oh.
That she was the showrunner on.
Okay. Shout out to Mike.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike.
Now there's a third writer here.
Whoa.
And what's interesting is I think this is the first time this happened. This writer is also in this movie. Yes. So Julie Brown wrote this and Camp Rock 2 and also did some episodes for the Clueless TV show. But she was also the character of...
Is it D?
D. LeDuc, the owner or director of the camp.
Oh,
that
what a name.
So much sense now, because as soon as she showed up, I was like, something's going on over here. You know what I mean? Like, she seemed like she fit in so well and yet was so out of place comparatively. Okay, now that tracks.
Yeah.
That absolutely tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. And she does have a lot of other acting credits. So it's not like she'd never acted before, but she also has a writing credit. So one of 2 things happened. Either she was just a writer and she cast herself in this movie, or she improvised a bunch and they had to give her a writing credit because she improvised. I'm guessing it's the former, but it could be the latter.
That's fair.
Yeah. Because sometimes like comedians will have writing credits on movies exclusively because they improvised. Yeah. Which is why improv was not allowed. Improv was not allowed in filming during the strike because it's considered writing. Yeah. Fun fact. What?
I didn't give my my disclaimer. Okay, wait. Hold on. Wait. Oh, okay.
Before we move forward, Zach has a disclaimer.
I do. While I am a Disney cast member, my thoughts and opinions are my own and do not reflect those of the Walt Disney Company.
Oh my
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
I've always wanted to use that spell.
That's so funny.
You did it. All right. We have a pretty big cast here, so let's hop right to it.
Okay.
Demi Lovato played Mitchie Torres. Now, I would love to know your guys' takes on what Mitchie is short for.
Mitchell.
It's got to be either like Michelle or Michaela or something like that, right? But like Mitch, why didn't they just say Mickey?
Yeah. I had the same thought. I
don't know if I have an answer. I just assumed that was her name and didn't think twice about it.
I've never heard anyone named Mitchie.
Yeah. Every time
Although
before I say her
Michelle
name
is a great guess.
Anyway, Demi Lovato, it will also be in Camp Rock 2. She's a musician, so she has a ton of music video credits. She got her start actually on Barney and Friends.
Oh,
she was
no
one
way.
of the main kids on Barney and Friends. And she also does voice acting. A notable one is she is a voice on the Smurfs.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. So she has kind of an interesting career.
Yeah.
And I will say as a disclaimer, because I'm going to cut most of that out.
Yeah.
we double checked and Demi has gone back to she, her pronouns. So that's why we're using she, her pronouns. Just
as
so
of Flag Day 2023.
That's right. Joe Jonas played Shane Gray,
Woo!
the teen heartthrob with the emo mullet. He will also be in, yes, just like Zach's emo mullet. Joe will also be in Camp Rock 2. Also, he and his brothers had their own show called Jonas on Disney Channel. And a fun fact about Jonas, or about them in general, is that originally the script did not have him being in a band. Shane was just a solo artist. But when they cast Joe, they added the characters for his brothers so that they could launch them all as a unit.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
I heard this story because one of my coworkers is a really big fan of the Jonas Brothers. She was telling me something about how they left to go film this before they had really blown up. And then when they they said that, oh, literally like we had gone away to summer camp while we were filming. And when they came back, they were famous and had blown up. So like, they're like, well, it's a good thing we were in the movie too, you know?
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. So this was like the one of the launch pads for them.
Wow.
And that's why all three of them are in it. Mm-hmm. Okay, Megan Martin was Tess Tyler. So that's fun. They did alliteration for alliteration. She's the like villain, sort of the meanie, the bully. She is also going to be in Camp Rock 2. So either we're going to, true to DCOM form, she's going to revert back to the way she was at the beginning of this movie, and we'll have to learn the same lessons all over again. But perhaps she won't, and she'll be a changed person and she'll be fun in the next movie. Who knows?
Y'all should make that a bingo square.
We should. Never learning your lesson. Yeah. She was also in the 10 Things I Hate About You show, which we actually talked about last time.
Nicholas
Someone
Braun.
was in it. Yes, Nicholas Braun was in it. She was also in the show Awkward, and she's a voice actor. One notable one is she does a voice in Kingdom Hearts, which is a Disney video game.
Zach!
Okay. I'm glad that you pointed that out because Allison Stoner, Megan Martin and Allison Stoner are both voices of main characters in Kingdom Hearts. So
wow.
Yay. I was fully ready to swoop in and be like, and oh wow, you knew.
I got you. Yes. So, and as Zach just said, Allison Stoner, who's up next, who played Caitlin Geller, who was the like best friend / Janice Ian type in this. They are also a voice on Kingdom Hearts, or in Kingdom Hearts, apparently a lead. I did not know that part.
Yep.
What
so that's
part do they play, Zach?
Okay, yes, and. So the main characters are Sora and Kyrie, right? So Kyrie and Sora both have like alter egos, and Kyrie has a couple of alter egos named Shion and Namine. So Allison Stoner is Shion, and Megan Martin is Namine, but also in Kingdom Hearts 3, now Allison Stoner is also the voice of Kyrie because Hayden Panettiere got recast. It's a loaded question with a loaded answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it brings in the paychecks. And for that, they are grateful.
Yes.
Correct.
Good for
I'm
them.
sure Allison Stoner said, yeah, man. Great. You want me to record how many lines? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm a dancer
More
and I'm a
voices?
Kingdom Hearter, okay?
So other credits for Allison Stoner include Camp Rock 2, shocking, Cheaper by the Dozen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I assume they were one of the kids.
Yes.
Yes.
A few episodes of Sweet Life with Zach and Cody. A show I did not know about, but they were in a lot of episodes called Ghost Time. Anything? No. They also do voice on Phineas and Ferb.
Okay.
And they are also a musician, so they have a number of music videos to their credit.
And they've
as well.
kind of had like a resurgence of their career recently. I think that from child acting, they were very burnt out over some past experiences, took some time off, and is now kind of back in the scene. Also,
Awesome.
How did you not mention, Val, the Missy Elliott music video?
Oh.
Or the Missy Elliott like VMAs performance?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell? You too. Go ahead.
Well, in the episode of The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, I was not a Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I didn't watch that show, but my siblings did, and I know that there was a clip where one of them was like, when Alison Stoner was on there, they said, "Doesn't she look like the girl from the Missy Elliott video?" And it's because
they are the person from the Missy Elliott.
Yeah, it's like it's
they're in Work It.
The pigtails. Work It. That's the one. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I can't believe you didn't know that, Val.
No, I didn't know that. Also, they were underutilized given their skill set.
100%.
Oh, for sure.
Case.
She's really good.
The best line.
And it's not even synced. It's not even synced to the sound.
I can't wait to unpack that later.
It became a TikTok trend because it's so silly.
Yep.
Oh, amazing. All right. So next up we have Maria Canal Barrera, who played Mom, Connie Torres.
Love her.
Yes. She is also going to be in Camp Rock 2. She was on the Tony Danza show. She was in Justice League, The Proud Family, also voice stuff. Wizards of Waverly Place.
Huge.
I think she's a primary character on
the mom.
Wizards of Waverly. Yep, there you go. And then she was also in a show called Christella.
Oh,
Christella. So she has a really long resume. Like she's a character actor. She's been in tons of stuff. All right. Daniel Fathers played Brown Casario. So the music director at the camp. He is also going to be in Camp Rock 2. Almost everybody in this cast is also in the sequel, which is pretty cool.
I like that.
Good. Yeah.
He's I saw that he's from England, but he moved to Canada when he was like a young man or a teenager or something. So of course he was in episodes of Murdoch Mysteries.
Nice.
He was also on a show. So, you know, the movie Snatch, apparently they made a television show of that.
Oh,
so he's in that. But he's like a pretty prolific character actor. Like he has, again, a really long resume where he's been in like one episode of everything.
Nice.
Yeah. Julie Brown, who also has the writing credit, played Deela Duke. Some of her acting credits include Animaniacs as a voice actor, the Clueless television show, which she also wrote for, a show called Strip Mall, which I had never heard of, The Middle, which I had heard of. But again, she's a character actor, so she's been in lots of other stuff too, like one episode type things. This is quite a name. Ready? Ana Maria Perez de Tekel played Ella Pador. I think that is one of the sidekicks.
Yes.
Of Tess.
She was the Karen.
Yeah. The Karen, yes. The one who's in the like hip hop number in the end.
Inexplicably.
Which makes no sense because she practices.
She didn't have like a super long resume, but she is also going to be in Camp Rock 2, and she was in some episodes of Hannah Montana.
Cool.
Jasmine Richards played Margaret Peggy Dupree, Aunt Peggy, very much the Aunt Peggy of this situation. She is the other sidekick of Tess.
The Gretchen.
She's in Camp Rock 2 as well. She was in something called Naturally Sadie, Overruled, Redakai. A lot of these guys also do voice acting, presumably because they're like musicians.
Yeah.
So a lot of them like are good voice people. Although I will say this about her, there is someone else singing for her. So she's not her own singing voice, and she's the only one in the movie.
Wow.
So she might have like a passable voice, but they like, I don't know,
maybe she got
because
sick
of the
that
final
day.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the final number, it's kind of, it's like just her singing. Like they, wanted to have someone else. But yeah, so she was not singing for herself.
They Hillary Duffed her real hard.
They did. Or Troy in High School Musical.
Yeah. Drew Seeley actually sang her part in Camp Rock for Peggy.
No, actually, the person who sang for her was named Renee Sands.
Nice. Hope you're well, Renee.
Jasmine was also in Bomb Girls, which is actually a show I watched.
Was it called Bomb Girls?
Bomb Girls. So like there was like a period where I think Netflix or maybe BBC or both, I don't know, made these shows that were all about like what women were doing during World War II. So there was one that was called like Bomb Girls. There was one that was called Farm Girls or something like that. So anyway, she was in Bomb Girls and I watched that.
It's a shame that the popularity didn't really blow up.
Zach.
I need to have like a sound effect for puns.
Wait, get the cat over the fence.
Yeah. But Jasmine stopped acting in 2013. So
but we follow her on Instagram.
And we hope whatever she's doing now, she's happy.
Succeeding. She has a really nice Instagram aesthetic, I will say.
Heck yeah. Okay. Jordan Francis played Baron James. I think that is one of the guys in the hip hop duo.
He's one of the ones who like plays drums and sings. He had one of the songs in the movie.
Yeah.
Yes. So he is also in Camp Rock 2. He is in something called Da Boom Crew, Carl Squared, Connor Undercover, and most recent credit was a like Hallmark style movie called A Christmas Serenade.
Oh my God, I want to be in that movie. This is me begging Hallmark I want to be in your movie. I want to be a bad actor in your Christmas Serenade.
Christmas Serenade.
Christmas Serenade. Zach, don't take my job from me. As Jennifer Coolidge impersonator.
We both play Jennifer Coolidge impersonators in A Christmas Serenade
Jennifer
too.
for Christmas.
Oh my God.
Wow.
It takes two Jennifers.
I love that. A tale of two Jennifers.
Oh my God.
All right. Well, it's happening.
Okay. Rashawn Fagan played Sander Lawyer. What a name. I believe he was the drummer. I think he's the drummer.
Okay.
Maybe he's one of the other ones. I don't know. He was in Camp Rock 2. He was in something called Shake It Up. A show called
The Zendaya Show.
Yes. Right. Greenleaf, which was like an Oprah produced show, I think. And then he is also a voice actor. And one notable was Dragons: Rescue Riders.
Oh, Zach, you know that one? Wow. Well, local nerd doesn't know nerd show.
I was going to say, you fully said, that sounds nerdy. Zach must know what that is.
Okay, we're down to the final two.
Oh, here we go.
Nick Jonas.
Oh, we're at the final two, but they're two good ones, so it's okay.
Nick Jonas played Nate Gray. He's in Camp Rock 2 as well, and the show Jonas. He's one of the Jonas Brothers, in case you couldn't figure that out. He's probably the most actory of the three of them. So aside from just being in a lot of music videos, he was also on the show Smash for a couple episodes, Scream Queens, Kingdom. He was in the movie Midway, and he was in the movie Jumanji 2.
Nice. He also made his way into my diary as I have a crush on him now diary that I had in like 7th grade. Cut out picture from J14 right in there.
I mean, I think it's pretty telling that like he's like the leader in this, like in many ways, and yet he was the youngest. Like they were like, no, he should have the lines. Like he should be the one doing the talking, and we'll make Kevin the dumb one.
Yeah,
so funny. And now, like, we'll talk about Kevin, and then we'll talk about the Jonas Brothers.
Okay, so Kevin Jonas played Jason Gray, and he was also in is going to be in Camp Rock 2, and was on the show Jonas, and is in lots of music videos. He doesn't really act at all otherwise.
We noticed.
Yeah, he's the only. His timing is impeccable. Although I will say this. I think some of that is down to editing.
Sure.
Because like we talked about this a little bit in Johnny Tsunami, where like they would leave like the lead walk into a scene of like Brandon Baker, and it made him look so much worse as an actor because like it was this weird delayed like timing to say something. And I think there, especially in the scene in the limo, like where we first meet them, there's definitely an editing problem going on in that scene. I don't know if it's because he and Nick are in the same shot, so like they were trying to just have them talk at the same time and not have to like cut between them.
Mm.
But either way, it's like very weird in that scene in particular. Anywho, that is the cast. Did you want to talk about the Jonas Brothers?
I want to talk about the Jonas Brothers.
They need to be
Go
discussed.
ahead.
They need to be discussed. The Jonas Brothers now world sensations. Look at where we came from. This is where it came from. That's not a Jonas Brothers song.
Although Joe is also now known for having almost as bad of PR as the Royal Palace.
Wow. Due to divorce.
Yeah.
Now, I did want to point out that there are two Jonas Brothers who dated multiple Disney Channel stars. So Disney Channel stars dating Disney Channel stars. Joe dated AJ Michalka.
Oh, okay.
Early DCOM star Camilla Bell.
Oh, wow.
And not a surprise after watching this movie, Demi Lovato.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Cool.
It just makes sense.
Just makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes sense.
Now, Nick dated, as I'm sure many of you know, Miley Cyrus,
Mm-hmm.
and also dated Selena Gomez.
Ah.
And I read an article of how Selena says that their dating was kind of like a love triangle, a la like Aaron Carter, Lindsay Lohan, Hilary Duff.
Yikes.
Like it was like they both liked him, but it's like crush because we're 16 type of thing. And then it was like drama, but it really wasn't drama. They were just 16 years old.
Yeah.
But I like the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah. I like them too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my Jonas Brothers talk.
Great. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
TED Talk over. Okay, synopsis. A teenage girl desperately wants to spend her summer in a rock camp, but the only way she can get in is by working in the kitchen. When a teen pop star overhears her singing, he sets out to find the girl behind the voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
There were, like basically this is if Mean Girls and Cinderella had a baby with like a touch of Mrs. Doubtfire sprinkled on top.
That's literally exactly what I said, except I said The Little Mermaid because he's like, I've got to find the girl with the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Same idea. Like someone's trying to match someone with something. It's definitely borrowing heavily from those tropes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You'll see as we go through the synopsis probably. Okay, great. That is the business. Because I already talked about the fun facts earlier.
Wow.
Okay, Zach, what were your first impressions of this movie? Well, first of all, had you seen this movie before?
So I had not.
Okay, so then what were your first impressions?
It was better than I expected it to be. I think I kind of mentioned earlier that my love for Disney Channel kind of ebbed and flowed over the years, and I would like tune in here and there. And I think at the time that this came out, I was definitely like, still love Disney movies, but I've grown out of Disney Channel original movies. So I was pleasantly surprised. The songs were better than I thought they would be. I had a couple of laugh out loud moments, and the moments that were cringy and meme worthy, like hit just right. She's really good.
And Val, just to age Zach really quick, he's between you and I.
Oh, sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we get a nice
We're hitting a
spectrum.
wide array. We just need like one Gen Z to be like, I don't know what this is.
Right.
Who's Joe Jonas?
Who's Joe? No, my heart can't take it.
Al, what were your first impressions?
Thanks, Val. I had seen this movie before as a wee child.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was not as obsessed with it as I think other people were. Also, I'm a Jonas Brothers fan. I don't not like them. They ended up on my top 5 people last year on Spotify.
Wow.
I liked this movie. I think that it's very, and I'm sure Val, you will probably say a similar thing. I think I would have liked it better if it weren't super over the top acted. It was just a little overacty for me. But Val's keeping her little mouth shut. She's not commenting it. But I did think it was fun. I feel like it is very quintessential DCOM. The drama, the parents, the star. But I see how we have kind of other stories mixing into one. I thought that it was a good start. I don't know if Demi did much that really brought her to stardom before this, but I thought that it was a really good introduction. And yeah, I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Wow.
Because it's
Solid
a good
score for me.
movie. It's fun, but I don't think it's better than the 6.5.
Fair.
I also want to say really quick about the Jonas Brothers, because I might talk about them the entire time. One of my best friends from high school, Tanvi, she was like a huge Jonas Brothers fan, where she would go to like Six Flags and saw them before they got big.
Wow.
Wow.
That is, it's crazy how they went from performing at different Six Flags venue for people who were walking by to hear. Love
That
the
is
year.
pretty crazy.
My favorite songs, in case everyone is wondering, everyone's asking, the fans are begging. My 2 favorite songs, Love Bug and Hesitate.
Wow. All right.
Okay. Val,
Cool.
first impressions of this movie and the Jonas Brothers.
Thanks, Al. So my actual introduction to the Jonas Brothers was via my campers at summer camp. They really loved them. And so my campers were notoriously good at winning lip sync battles when we would have that as like the evening activity. And so I would often pick the songs for them, like when they were younger, but then when they were like maybe 11, they wanted to do Jonas Brothers. So we did Year 3000 and we like choreographed it, and like the counselors, we all were in it. The counselors don't have to be in it, but we were like, yeah, we'll do it. So we like stood in the background with tennis rackets, like pretending we were the Jonas Brothers while they like did this whole choreography
Val,
thing in
you
front
had
of us. It was
shade
very
gray
cute.
hair.
It was very cute. So I have a love for that song because of that.
Yes.
But yeah, I think they're good. Like I think their songs are catchy. I like them.
And what
Yeah.
was your impression of the movie?
You asked me about both.
I know. I'm getting to the second question now.
So my impression of this movie is that I liked it. I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
What I felt about this movie is that it was almost the inverse of a musical. So like it was trying to be a musical, obviously. But it made some mistakes that I think like High School Musical doesn't make. So like in High School Musical, the acting, the talking for the most part is very like real feeling and like straight down the barrel and like is earnest.
Mm-hmm.
And then the music is where it goes over the top, right? And that's what a musical is, right? Your emotion gets so big that you can't keep the music inside you and it like comes out, right?
You are the music in me, Val.
That's right. So in this, it felt almost like the opposite. So it felt like the music was trying to be really earnest,
Mm-hmm.
and the acting was really over the top.
That's a fair evaluation.
There was a lot of cringe. There was also stuff that I just like being nitpicky didn't like. Like, for example, there's a scene where Joe is sitting on a dock with Demi and he's serenading her. And for some reason, during this song that he is singing with just an acoustic guitar, there's backup vocals. And I'm
yes,
why
I wrote
would
that.
you insert backup vocals in this like beautiful kind of quiet, sincere moment? Like it's just weird
Val, if you
choices
look
like that.
behind them in the scene, there's 4 men standing behind a tree, okay? Gosh, she's so picky with her musicals.
I'm so picky. But yeah, so it's just like stuff like that. And it's very cringe. Like there are like, so my husband was in the room when I was watching a good amount of this one. And he was just like, I can't pay attention to this. It's making me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it wasn't a bad movie. And as has already been said, it hits a lot of DCOM tropes. Like it's very like standard DCOM in a lot of ways. But I think that they were trying to like chase the magic of High School Musical and they just didn't quite hit it.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
Yeah. Zach, we didn't get your opinion on the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, sure. I don't think I'm educated enough on the Jonas Brothers to really have a full opinion. The music from them that I have heard, I think is wildly catchy. They seem to be relatively attractive, well-behaved boys. with the exception of some new information that I had not heard that you guys just
Zach
shared with me. So
living in ignorant or innocence.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. Yeah, I really don't know. Someone sent me a clip recently of one of their concerts, and they came out to the Bluey music, and instead of it being Mom, Dad, Bluey, it was Nick, Kevin, Joe, and I thought that was just neat.
Mm-hmm.
That's really funny. Just three dads.
Just three dads.
Pop stars.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Good stuff. All right. Well, Zach, I would love to know if you had any favorite quotes or moments from this film.
I'd love to share them. I really would. Oh gosh,
you knew we were gonna ask.
Where to start? So I just before I go into my favorite quotes or moments, just to help you get to know me just a little bit more. I 100% agree with everything that you just said. In that, like, you know, like the backup vocals came out of nowhere, and it's like, you know what I mean? Chasing after the success of High School Musical and trying to do it so hard and trying to do all these things that were artistic but just didn't land, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I kind of thrive in some of that cringe.
Fair.
You know?
That's
so
fair.
A lot of my favorite quotes or moments are those moments where it's like they wanted this to be a really impactful moment and it was just cringy.
Yeah.
So coming in hot right at the beginning is when she first gets to Camp Rock and she sees Tess get out of the limo and she like watches her walk away, and Mitchie's just like, whoa. You know what I mean? And I was like, the whole 15 seconds before that was just Tess slowly getting out of the limo, like
she looks in the camera.
She looks in the I turned because Austin was watching it with me, and I turned to him at one point and I was like, this is going on for a full 6 seconds longer than it needs to. Like, so stuff like that. Like prop and setting moments that really got me were the trumpet drink fountains. The trumpet, I kept saying trumpet juice. Grab a glass of trumpet juice. When she ducks behind the counter, it's before not even the moment where she puts flour on her face as like a disguise so that she doesn't get recognized.
Yeah, that's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah.
Yes, that was great. But before that, when she hides, there's just these giant cans that just say peas. They just say peas. There's no picture. There's no nutrition facts. Nothing. Just peas. In like generic, bold, some variant of Comic Sans, like a couple of lines. When the music calls, you've got to answer.
Oh.
You're dreaming. You're a rock princess. Okay. I rock. If the class is a rockin', I'm glad I came a knockin'.
Was that Uncle Brown?
That was Uncle Brown.
That was a good impression, Zach.
Oh, tell me again. Okay, but you are responding by saying you're not responding. And then I think my favorite moment, point blank, was, well, I'd better get going. Oh, back to the kitchen. Visible confusion. To get some dip for these chips.
Oh, yeah.
So, right. And then I don't remember if he hands it to her or if she picks it up, but it's this very clearly empty cardboard box.
Yep. Object permanence.
Object permanence. But yes, those are the moments that jumped out to me.
Nice.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Al, what about you?
Thanks, Val. I don't have a ton, but one of my favorite moments from the beginning is when a guy just for no reason does a flip off the bus, runs at the bus, flips off of it.
Yeah.
And also Demi does the me and Ryan do this now anytime we dance, but she like grabbed her head. She was like,
oh yeah.
Loved that. I loved our cold open. One word, payback. That's 2 words. I loved in the kitchen, they had just a mound of ground beef. Weird. And then one of my favorite lines was, come on, guys, I've learned my lesson. I've showered in cold water. I've looked at a tree. It's been 3 hours. I need hair product.
I wrote that.
Everyone's favorite meme line, she's really good.
Really?
Which we will continue to quote because they say she's really good, they're really good, really great. Zach is pointing at his iPad. He took note of it as well. They couldn't think of any other adjectives. Whatever, major loser. And then I don't know, what's your mom like? She's like a mom. Very funny. And then this is my favorite part of the movie, in which I will demonstrate now. When Demi Lovato is singing at the end, she does Disney knees.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Yep. I noticed this too.
Oh, there it is. That was.
I couldn't really see if I was doing it right, but
no, you were.
No,
that
was good.
I was gonna call that out too because it's so funny.
Wow, Allie, that was really good.
She's really good.
Really good.
But yeah, those were my favorite quotes or moments. Val, what were your faves?
Oh boy, thanks, Al. Okay. She's good at trying too hard to be good.
Val always with the ones that are gonna make you think.
What an assessment. Yeah, I also wrote, it's been 3 hours. I need hair products.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Grab a mic and a hat. Follow me if you can.
And then everyone's wearing hats like not fully on their heads so that so their eyes can still see the camera.
And do you know who's not wearing a hat?
Shane.
Joe Jonas.
Yeah. It would have messed up his emo hair.
Yeah.
His emo mullet.
Guess who? It's you. I can see.
Yeah, with the glass door.
I just wrote, I love Kevin.
Kevin is the best part of this movie.
Yeah. By the way, your lip gloss is so not glossy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And then my favorite moment, and this is kind of a spoiler, but whatever, is Peggy is the winner.
Yep.
And Peggy.
Underdog.
And Peggy. Oh.
And Peggy. She wins. The only other moment that stood out to me is when they're in the canoe and they're fake laughing and then it zooms out and the laughing is not even synced to their physical movement anymore. And it's just like, ha 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 for like a solid 15 seconds.
Yeah, a lot of fake laughing in this one.
Yeah. Bad special effects.
Ooh,
he knows his bingo chart.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Zach's got the bingo card memorized. I'm good if we want to go on and strip and go to Spoiler City.
Well, everyone, it's about that time. It is nighttime at camp, and the three of us have snuck out. Tops are off, bottoms still on, and we're skinny dipping in the lake. It's time for Spoiler City. Now, Zach, typically I do the synopsis. Zach, would you like to do the synopsis today? I typically ask our guests.
I'd love to do the synopsis today.
My God. And I'm so glad you said that. One, because I didn't take any notes. Two, because I want to hear you talk to me. So whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Sounds good. All right. So lights up on a suburban home. We see our main character leap out of bed and start getting ready for the day. It's our first montage of the movie, and it sure won't be the last. So it's not technically an opening narration, which I know makes Allie really happy. But, it was technically Mitchie singing, so it's kind of an opening narration. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The important things that we see here is we see Mitchie grab a notebook before she runs downstairs, and it is a miracle that none of those books fell out of her unzipped backpack. We get down to breakfast, and the news is on, and we see this news story about how there's this huge band called Connect 3, and a member of the band named Shane Gray has caused some kind of a kerfuffle. We're not sure exactly what it is, but he walked off. He caused some kind of a stunt. They were recording some latest project, and he walked out at the end of it and caused a big stink. So now the whole group is in hot water because of it. We cut to the mom, Connie, and she says, Mitchie, I found all of those Camp Rock brochures that you hid all around the house, but it doesn't change the fact that we can't afford to send you there. And Mitchie's like,
we're poor.
Because we're poor, hashtag. So Mitchie's like, oh, rats. So we cut to the last day of school, which not a whole lot of important stuff happens here, but she talks to her best friend who we never see again. And they have this whole conversation about how, it really stinks that you can't go to Camp Rock. Oh yeah, anybody who's anybody in music goes to Camp Rock. I think the only thing important that really happened there in that moment was her best friend says, have a great summer in Mandarin.
Yes.
Is that what it was? Yes. So
that's what it was. Yes.
Yes. And that will be important later.
Yes, it will.
It sure will. After school and after work, apparently. I feel like we were just moving through that whole day really, really fast. We cut to Dad's making burgers on the grill, and Mitchie gets home, and they're like, how was your day at school? How was work? And she's like, it's fine. I'm still bummed that I can't go to Camp Rock. And they said, well, guess what? Drum roll, you can go to Camp Rock, actually, because Mom got a catering job at Camp Rock. So Mitchie gets to go to Camp Rock after all, on the caveat that Mom will be there working and Mitchie's going to help out in the kitchen. What could possibly go wrong?
I don't know.
So we don't know. Well, we're going to find out. We cut to Mitchie and her mom arriving at Camp Rock, and we see the aforementioned limo that I mentioned earlier. And the camera lingers for far too long on a smug blonde girl as she gets out of the limo. And Mitchie watches this girl as she climbs out and just says, whoa. So this is very clearly going to be somebody who's important later. We then cut to the camp director, Brown Cesario. Camp director, would you say that that's his title? I feel like.
Yeah, he's the music director, and then D is the like regular director. Or whatever. Sure.
Yeah, yeah, man. I was like, I don't know what their official titles are, but they're running this joint. Yes. So he introduces himself to Mom Connie while Mitchie runs out the back door. She's running around. She's taking in all of the sights, sounds. She's making her way through the crowd. While this is happening, Brown is kind of like talking about himself to Mom, and he's like, oh yeah, and they really wanted us to know that he's Australian, because within the first 60 seconds he says, no worries.
And we knew.
And we knew.
And we immediately knew.
And we knew. He's humble bragging about all of the famous people and artists that he knew. He's like, oh yeah, I knew the Mixta, also known as Mick Jagger and Aerosmith. So we get this idea that he's this big important guy in the music industry. Mm-hmm. And that's why all of these kids want to go to Camp Rock, is because of the connections they can make here, apparently. So we cut back to Mitchie, and she's again walking through the crowd, and she's doing that cliche thing where she's walking backwards, and she bumps into that smug blonde girl from before. And then we cut to Allison Stoner, who's sitting nearby, and Allison Stoner's character Caitlin says, that's Tess Tyler, the diva of Camp Rock. And Mitchie says, is she really good?
Mark it on your tick marks.
I didn't know anything going into this movie, but I knew that line. And as soon as she said that, I went, oh boy, here we go. And then Caitlin's like, yes, well, her mom has like 1,000,000,001 Grammys. So we're like, okay, regardless of Tess's level of talent, her mom is like really, really important. Mm-hmm. Caitlin then introduces herself and says, I'm Camper today, top selling music producer tomorrow. And then demonstrates on her little play school laptop looking thing and just goes and hits a couple of keys and, just
pulls her hands away. It's still going.
Pulls her hands away. It's still going. Exactly. After that, then we cut to Dila Duke. I wrote down that she has knockoff Reba energy.
Oh yes, I felt that too.
Right, which is not a bad thing.
No.
But she was like, "Okay, kiddos, I thought that she was a camp counselor, but I guess she's a camp director." And she's kind of like hyping the whole crowd up, and she's like, "Welcome to your couple of weeks here at Camp Rock." And she lays the groundwork for something coming up at the end of their camp session called the Final Jam. And I want to make a note here because I want to set everyone up for success. Every day is something jam. There's the Final Jam. There's beach jam. There's formal jam. There's pajama jam. There's breakfast jam. Like, I don't know. I made up a couple of those, but like, halfway through the movie, I was like,
never guessed.
Halfway through the movie, I was like, what is happening? And then she drops another bomb. She says that there will be a surprise instructor this year. Cut to said surprise instructor, Joe Jonas, also known as Shane Gray, the rogue member of the band that we mentioned before, who was on the news. And he's in the car with his bandmates. And he says, oh man, I can't believe I'm going to spend my summer at some camp. And then his brothers / bandmates, I want to circle back. When you were doing the business, you said that their last name was Gray.
Also Gray.
Gray. But they have a handful of lines in the movie that made us think that they weren't related, because they kept saying things like, you get to spend time with your uncle. And they said like, oh, the camp is where we met. That's where we became a band. So I was like, Inconsistent. Okay, cool. So it wasn't just me. So they were like, oh, Camp Rock is where Connect 3 formed. You'll get to spend time with uncle, like this. And they're like, oh, you're the reason we're in this mess in the first place. This is your chance to fix our PR and kind of get us out of it. And he's like, but I'm not going to be happy about it. And then before they drive away and leave him at the camp, they say, oh, and by the way, whoever the winner of Final Jam is, you have to record a duet with them. And then he's like, and I got to record a song. Beans. We cut to Mom and Mitchie in the kitchen. Thank you. Yes, I'll be here all night. We cut to Mom and Mitchie in the kitchen, and Mom's giving Mitchie a pep talk, being like, oh, sweetie, I hear you in your room. You're really good. Oh, this is the scene where they were in the mound of ground beef, and they're rolling it up with their hands, and not a hairnet. Not a hairnet to be seen.
No.
Yep. Also, I'm sorry, I worked at a summer camp. I've been in a kitchen at a summer camp. Those patties would have been frozen in little stacks.
Right.
No one's hand making burger patties at a summer camp for hundreds of kids. Sorry,
right.
Not happening.
Exactly. That's why they hired a caterer. They said, this year we're doing it right. We've got hungry mouths to feed. And so at some point, again, Mitchie's helping out in the kitchen like they agreed. And so Mitchie goes to take the trash out. And while she's taking the trash out, she overhears Tess and her friends rehearsing. So she goes over and she kind of like listens in, and she kind of sees Tess kind of pick on her friends a little bit, like, how many times have I told you, stay in formation? I don't remember exactly what she says, but it was something like that. And after she takes out the trash, she kind of wanders into the currently empty cafeteria, sits down at the piano, and starts playing. We then cut to Shane, who is on the phone with his brothers, which that's where we had that great quote that Allie mentioned earlier, or both of you mentioned, where he's like, oh, I'm out of hair product. And he's like, all right, guys, this is really funny. You can come pick me up now.
Yeah.
And he's trying to outrun this gaggle of girls that's after him. And he trips and falls, but he hears Mitchie singing. So he goes into the cafeteria to see who it is, and she's gone. And he's like, oh, I must find who this mysterious girl is. Because he's French now for some reason.
No, totally. Makes sense.
I liked how when y'all did High School Musical, your guest was trying to guess the names of the songs. I don't know the names of any of these songs. So I have written down what I think their names are. I think the name of this song was This Is Me.
You did good. That's
Actually,
what it is.
That is
called.
correct.
Hey, I got one. All right. We cut to Mitchie hanging out with Caitlin and a few friends. Caitlin introduces Mitchie to Lola, who's not super important, but she does come back later. And then Lola does this hip hop number that I said is called Who's Got?
Cool.
What is it actually called?
It's called like Come On or something.
So we also missed the opening song, which is called Who Will I Be?
Who will I? Yes. I wrote that down too, but I just breezed right past it.
And then I think the next one is called What It Takes, like the one we're talking about right now. Isn't that called What It Takes?
Who's Got? I said Who's Got, but I bet the next part is What It Takes.
What It Takes.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Who's Got What It Takes. So the reason we're introduced to Lola is because after she performs, we have another moment where Mitchie's like, oh, she's really good. And Caitlin's like, well, yeah, like her mom's on Broadway. So we're starting to get this impression that everyone at this camp has famous parents. So, which might wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Mitchie doesn't have famous parents. How could this possibly go wrong? The next conversation, we're going to find out. So Tess and her flunkies kind of come over, and they start talking to them, and they're starting to get to know Mitchie. And the next thing I have here is that one of them says, "Oh, is your dad Mickey Torres, the composer?" And then Mitchie's like, "No, he owns a hardware store." And then they all get really like, they're disinterested and they start leaving. And then she goes, "Oh, but my mom owns Hot Tunes TV in China." Convincing. She says, "Oh, there's a huge market over there. I was in 3 music videos last summer in the background." So, but again, it was in China, so you probably haven't seen it. So they're all like, "Oh my gosh, your mom's this big music producer. She owns a whole like TV channel." So like suddenly these girls are interested and they want to keep her around. So very a la Mean Girls, suddenly Tess is like, "You can sit with us. You can stay in our cabin." And so now that kind of like dynamic starts happening. And Caitlin sees all of this happen, again, a la Janice and Mean Girls. She seems a little peeved, but she's kind of letting it play out. And then the next thing I wrote was, Mom is really chill with Mitchie moving, because I thought that there would be some like, "Oh, like we were going to do this together." Like none of that. Mom is super supportive. She's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you made friends. Of course you can go move in with them."
Mom's cool.
We see more Mean Girls parallels. We see Tess yelling at Peggy for playing her guitar. We cut to them in their cabin. And Peggy is playing her guitar, and Tess starts yelling at her and being like, "Do you have to play that so loud?" And then meanwhile, Ella, the other friend, is like, "Oh, which shade of nail polish should I pick?" And then Tess is like, "They're both the same." So it's again, instead of Regina George and Gretchen and Karen, now it's Tess, Peggy, and Ella. Same dynamic.
And Caitlin is very much like Janice.
Very much like Janice. Absolutely.
Even down to the backstory, which we find out later.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. All we're missing is a Damien.
Yeah, I know. Where's Damien?
Where's Damien? There is a moment that happens, and I didn't really write this part down because I didn't think it was important at the time, but Tess gets a phone call from her mom, but the phone call lasts only for 5 seconds. Tess is super excited to talk to her mom, but then her mom like rushes her off the phone and she's like, "Oh, okay, I guess we'll talk later." And then is that the same conversation where she brings up the bracelet?
No.
Is that a different scene later?
Way later.
Bracelet comes up way later. Okay, great.
But basically like it's setting up that Tess is the way she is because her mom ignores her.
Yes. Correct.
Basically.
Big mommy issues vibes. Oh, and then at a certain point, they're like, "Oh, like what's that notebook there? Oh, you should show us some of your songs." So Mitchie sings for them, and they're like, "Wow, you're really good." I'm overplaying it. They say similar lines, but they don't say the "you're." But really
it's
good
like basically
line.
the same thing every time.
It's basically the
correct.
Same thing.
Yeah. Correct. The next morning, Mitchie gets up early to go help her mom in the kitchen, which this is where that favorite quote or moment earlier where she was like, "You're dreaming right now. You're a rock star," because one of the girls almost wakes up. And then there's this whole moment where she successfully helps her mom make breakfast and then like exits out the back door and then joins the gaggle of kids coming into the cafeteria just in time to make it look like she was with them all along. I wrote down here, it always shows this guy at a sink anytime they're in the kitchen, but we never see him from the front. Did you notice that too? There's always the same guy that we just see from the back of the head. He's always there at the sink, but we never see him from the front.
That's amazing.
That's so funny.
Who is this mystery sink man?
Who's this mystery sink man? So Caitlin pulls Mitchie to the side, very a la Janice Ian, and is like, "Oh, so you're thinking about being friends with Tess? Don't be. Like, it's a mistake. Like, she only wants one thing, like, especially if you value your music." There's a conversation between Shane and Brown where Brown is like, "Hey, like you're supposed to be teaching these classes. Like, why aren't you? Like, I'm going to have to assign somebody to like really like, follow you around." And, Shane is protesting and like, we cut to him. That's where we have the one where he does the Mike and the Fedora class, right? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And then,
grab your hats.
Grab your hats. And then this one guy can't dance, but it's because he had drumsticks in his pocket. And there was a whole lot, we got to take that beat from your hands to your feet.
The whole purpose of that moment is just to show that Shane isn't actually a bad person, that his instinct is to be a good person.
Yes, absolutely. Because he knows what he's talking about and he's actually good at it. And he wants to help these kids, like when he has like a motivation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is if the class is a rockin', I'm glad I came knockin'. We cut to the next class. Brown. This is a class that Brown is teaching, and so he's like, "All right, who wants to go first?" And everyone raises their hand except Mitchie. So of course he picks her and makes her sing, and then everyone's like, "She's really good." And then afterwards, Tess is like, you should join our group, but like in the background. And then Michi's like, well, I was thinking about singing a solo number. And Tess was like, well, are you sure? That's like really hard. Have you ever like sang solo before? And then Michi's like, you're right. That does sound scary. I should just go with the flow and try to fit in and be in the background with your group. And then the next scene is with the giant can of peas. Michi is in the kitchen and Shane comes in because of his allergies got messed up. So he's looking for the cook. And they kind of have their first back and forth. She puts flour on her face so that he doesn't recognize her later. At first I was like, why is she covering her face? But it's in case he sees her later. At first he's kind of like a jerk to her. And he's like, well, tell the help to fix this and get my order right next time. And she's like, that's really rude. You can't talk to me like that. Talk to me like I'm a person and I'll help you. And then he's like, please. And then she's like, that's what I thought. And then we again kind of see this, like how he's putting up a facade and she's kind of like breaking down that wall. I wrote grumpy about allergies, very cute.
I love your choices of words, like
very
grumpy and like gaggle of kids.
Gaggle of kids, thank you. Yeah, I try. I'm basically a 4-year-old. It's fine. Allie will tell you.
He's not wrong.
We have another conversation between Uncle Brown and Shane. Again, he's just trying to wrangle Shane and get him to behave and like do what he's supposed to do. I think this is the first time he's like, is he talking about his old music at this point?
Yeah, he's sort of lamenting how the label has changed the band's music.
Yes. And Brown is like, what happened to that kid who used to dream and just did whatever he wanted? And then Shane's like, he grew up, Uncle Brown. I wrote Chinese body powder.
She has flour in her hair.
She still has the flour in her hair for the next class. That's exactly what it was.
Chinese body powder.
The next day at breakfast, Michi has to act like she doesn't recognize her mom. Her mom comes up to all of them while they're eating. And her mom's like, hey, girls. Oh, glad to see that you're making some friends. And they're like, do you know her? And Michi's like, like shoots like daggers at her. So without revealing to her mom that she's acting like she doesn't know them. We have a moment where Shane's playing his guitar alone and Michi kind of like hears him singing and finds him. And she's like, well, why don't you play stuff like that more often? And he's like, my record label would never let me. And then she's like, well, for the record, at least one girl thinks that music's great. You know, like this like blatant like flirting like moment.
Yep.
We cut to another conversation, but we have these periodic conversations between Michi and her mom where her mom is just reminding her how important it is for her to be independent and be her own person. But at the same time, Michi's like, but I'm also trying to like fit in. And her mom's like, okay, but keep being true to you. You don't have to do all that kind of stuff. And then we have Campfire Jam where Knockoff Reba says, this is all about expression. And then we get this song that I said is called Too Cool. Where
yes, that's what it's called.
Is that really what it's called? Okay,
yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was so weird because Tess was singing this with a bunch of girls in the front that weren't even our main characters. Michi and Peggy and Ella were all literally in the back corner, like singing backup vocals. But afterwards, that's when Caitlin pulls Michi to the side afterwards and it was like, so how did that feel? How did that feel being so talented and having all these things to offer, but being stuck in the background? That's what it's like being Tess's friend. And then that's when the food fight happens the next day in the cafeteria. Tess, Ella, and Peggy are walking by and Tess bumps into Caitlin and a food fight starts. And Caitlin technically is the one who threw the first noodle. And when Brown is interrogating them afterwards, Michi doesn't stand up for Caitlin. Even though Tess started it, Caitlin's the one who reacted first. So that kind of puts Michi on Caitlin's like no list.
And Caitlin gets punished.
And Caitlin does get punished. Thank you. Yes, Caitlin gets punished and now she has to work in the kitchen. And at this point, even Caitlin does not yet know that Michi's mom is the chef. So I wonder how this is going to go. Ooh. We run into Shane again and he's much friendlier this time. He asks if he can run something by Michi and we cut to him singing one of his new songs. This is the song where he magically harmonizes. They're down by the water. And I said the title of this one is Find You.
Yep. Gotta find you.
Gotta find you.
I'm doing great. I'm knocking him out. And then that was the, after he sings that song and she's like, oh, like that was really, really good. they connect a little bit more. And then it's very much so like in The Little Mermaid, again, to draw that comparison, where he's like, wow, I really, really like this girl, but I'm obsessed with finding that one girl whose voice I heard before. So he's still kind of like keeping that eye out. So that's where she's like, all right, I gotta go. And then he's like, back to the kitchen to get some dip for these chips. And then the next time they're in the kitchen is where the big dramatic reveal happens, where Caitlin realizes that Mitchie is the daughter of the cook because she trips and she drops the chip bag and has to change outfits, and everything is revealed. And then they have this whole confrontational conversation, and it's like, why were you hiding who you are? Well, you hide too. You don't let anybody in. This whole like back and forth between the two of them.
Also, everyone at this camp is rich and snobby. Are they really all that shocked that she lied about who she was?
Yeah.
Correct. Exactly. So Caitlin now has this over Mitchie's head. So Caitlin is kind of like sauntering around them inside of the cafeteria, like slyly eating chips around them, trying to be like, oh, I could like reveal your secret at any moment. But she's not going to do that. We know that Caitlin's a good person. We cut to Pajama Jam, which is basically another dance or sing-off talent competition, but at night when everyone's in their pajamas.
Yep.
Here is where Caitlin and Mitchie kind of make up a little bit, because Caitlin does her performance where she has like the infamous like, wow, she's really good scene for real this time. And she's like, "Ba-bam." And so Tess tries to make this snotty comment to her afterwards. And then Mitchie comes in and stands up for her. I think that's the whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Allie, what was the quote again?
Whatever, major loser.
Yep, I want to get the picture. Duh, that's different. That's a different. So after that, they're kind of like, all right, I guess we're friends again. They have a conversation afterwards the next day where Caitlin's like, hey, like, do you see what I was talking about? Like, you know, Tess is the worst, right? And they're like, okay, like, let's try to be friends. So at some point in this, Tess also realizes the big secret and reveals it.
She sees Mitchie leaving the kitchen.
She sees Mitchie leaving the kitchen.
Saying goodbye to her mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Does she reveal it first?
No. So this is what I didn't understand. So if you don't mind me hijacking for a second.
Please do.
So what I would have expected her to do is to tell her she knows her secret and basically like hamstring her. So kind of like Ursula stealing her voice, right? And then steal her song, because she went into her stuff and stole her songbook. And this whole thing is about how Joe is trying to find the person who sings this song. So, so Tess could have easily just sung her song.
That was really confusing that she didn't sing it.
Yeah. Right. But she doesn't do that. Instead, what she does is, for some reason, she still steals her songbook, but she like frames Mitchie for stealing her charm bracelet. Right. Which makes no sense. And like Brown, she brings it to Brown, and Brown is like, I know this is complete bullshit. Yeah. And so he's like, you can not participate in any activities until the end of the final jam. And he says it like 8 times. Yes, the end of the final jam. Fast forwarding just a little bit, I'm trying to remember, when does the big reveal that her mom is the cook happens? I think it happens like right after this. Right after like, the bracelet thing? Yeah. So like then Tess does out her, but I can't remember the exact context of it. It's not the final jam. It's the
campfire jam.
It's not the campfire jam. It's a different jam, but it's the one where they said the rest of Connect 3, who will also be judging the final jam, they're here to give us a little performance. So they all get up there and they sing their big number. And then in the aftermath of that, you know, like all of our characters are on a high. You know, Mitchie and Caitlin have just made up. And Shane's feeling really, really good because, you know, he's like, I'm going to find that girl. And our band is like having this new sound again. And then Tess turns around, and I don't remember exactly what she says. She goes, tell us more about your mom, Mitchie. And Mitchie's like, she's great. How about your mom over there, random kid? And then that's when he's like, she's a mom. She's a mom. And then that's when everything blows up. And Mitchie has to reveal, oh, she's actually the cook. And then Shane's like, I thought you were different. I thought you were different from all of these other phonies out here. You lied to me. So now everything is terrible. And then we cut to like a handful of like the other kids being like, So it's implied that now everyone hates her, not just our main characters.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut to this moment in class not long after that, where Mitchie literally sits in the corner while everyone else is standing. And then Shane comes in and is like, music is about being real about who you are as a person. And then she's over there sitting in the corner, like one singular tear like goes down her cheek. It's really cute. And then we make a game plan. Caitlin and Mitchie are talking together on the dock. And they're like, yeah, he kept saying over and over again, until the end of Final Jam. Wait a second, I've got an idea. And then we have another montage where we see Tess rehearsing. We see our main characters rehearsing. And then next thing you know, it's Final Jam.
Yep.
Basically right before the performance starts, Tess gets into a big fight with Peggy and Ella. And Peggy and Ella finally stand up for themselves. They're like, we're so tired of you talking down to us, so we're going to do our own thing. So Peggy literally joins another group. Magically.
Ella joins a different group. After not practicing with them at all.
Is able to join in and have a couple of lyrics and know the choreography.
Yep.
Great. Love that. And then, so they perform and they do great. Peggy jumps in. She has a little mystery number. Oh, no, she's last. Tess does her number on her own, and surprise, surprise, her mom shows up. But halfway through the number, her mom stops paying attention and answers a telephone call. And that's what throws Tess off her game, and she runs off stage crying. And I would not wish that upon anybody, but we do
wish it upon her.
We just a little bit, but we do empathize with her a little bit. Peggy enters the competition by herself again and does a cute little solo number. And then once Peggy's done, technically, Final Jam is all done. But wait a second, we have one more entry now that Final Jam is over. And then Mitchie comes in and sings This Is Me again, one more time. And then there's this great slow motion turn from Shane. And he's like, it's you, Ariel. It was you all along. And then he joins her on stage, not knowing the words, and it becomes a duet.
Yep.
Well, they fugue two songs together, right?
Yeah.
Because he's singing his song, which is Gotta Find You.
That's right.
And she's singing This Is Me, and they kind of like put it together.
Yes.
It was actually kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it was great. It looked great. It sounded great. Really tacky. Just a little cheesy in sheer decom fashion.
Oh, super cheesy. I mean, this whole movie is cheesy.
Yeah.
And then spoiler alert, after all of that, Peggy's the one who wins the competition. But that's okay because Mitchie found love and our friends found validation. And Tess apologized. She went up to Caitlin and Mitchie afterwards and was like, hey, you're really good. And I'm going to say that's it. I think that was it. I know I got a little fast there at the end.
Final number called We Rock.
We all are rocking together.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Is basically what it was.
That's how it goes. Wait, Zach, can you sing it one more time?
We all rock this together.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yay,
Thank you, Zach.
That's exactly, yes. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's head into bingo.
Bingo. All right, let's start with a one-hit wonder song.
No one in here is a one-hit wonder, except for us. We're doing the actor. His name was Jordan Eisner. I don't know. There's a guy in here who has one song. Wait, I literally have it pulled up on my phone. Al, use your resources.
Oh, Jordan Francis?
Jordan Francis.
That one.
But I think he actually had other songs.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind.
Okay, I'll do next. Breaking the fourth wall or looking into the camera.
Yes.
Well, apparently
there was one.
There was.
So I didn't notice her doing it at the beginning in the limo until you pointed it out. But during that final number when she's singing This Is Me, she's absolutely looking into the camera there at the end.
Okay, cool. Well, then there's two.
Yeah.
Two.
There's two.
Mm-hmm. Mark it twice.
Holiday themed. Sad.
No. Pajama Jam.
Pajama
Jam day.
Yeah.
All right. Clunky metaphor.
Val?
I actually didn't think of one. I mean, I guess like, let's see, what can I come up with?
I don't think there is one.
No,
okay.
there isn't one.
Val took way too long to decide.
Yeah. All right. Parents who just don't get it. I don't think so.
Unless you're counting Tess's mom.
Unless you count Tess's mom. But Mitchie's mom was so supportive. Like, even after, I was expecting this whole, like, you lied? You pretended you weren't my daughter? Like, I expected that. And she's like, I get it.
Yeah. So
no, she's
time.
very cool mom who definitely gets it.
Cool mom. But cool non-parent adult.
Uncle Brown.
And Dila Duke.
Yeah, Dila Duke is cool.
I have no other comments except for repeating her name every time I hear it. Dila Duke.
Someone too famous for a TV movie.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. I'd say not yet.
Not yet. Competition to resolve central problem. Yeah.
Singing competition.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
True.
A montage sequence. Yeah.
We had like 3 or 4 montages.
Yes, we did.
Cliche villains. For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bully.
The mean
Regina
girls.
George. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Clothes or item you owned. So I wrote down, I basically had almost the identical flannel pants to the ones she's wearing in the very first scene.
Wow.
So I think they would count. Also, I mean, I had tons of mixed CDs that I like wrote on in Sharpie the same way that is all over this movie.
And I wore so many layers like they all did. 2 t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time.
Okay, Rotten Tomatoes, 40 to 60. You both have to guess because I know, Zach, you didn't look it up.
I didn't look it up. I was very tempted. I feel like it had to have done well, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say 53. That's what my gut's saying.
I'm going to go a little higher. I'm going to say 66.
One of you won. And we get the point. It's Zach Roberts. It was 50% on the dot.
Really?
Hey!
Well, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I wanted to put it a little higher, but I was like, nah, like keep it closer to 50.
Good job, Zach.
Yeah.
I'll
Took
take
Val
it.
a long time to win.
Yeah, it's true.
And you're here the first time.
Hey, well, I've done a lot of research.
That's true. You've listened to a lot of
I listened to every episode.
You have. You probably know this better than I do.
Happily ever after.
Yeah.
I mean,
but there's a 2, so is it really? But for right now, it is.
Too happy to after.
Aww.
Almost kissing. I want to make an argument for when they finish singing together at the end.
Absolutely.
It was very
they hold hands and they want to, and then they kind of realize everyone's around. And
yeah.
They do the whole hand thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone who became famous.
So many people in this cast.
So many.
So many. All of the people.
Yeah.
Betraying of one's real friends or values.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's like the whole theme of the movie.
The whole theme of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Your childhood crush.
Val said your, and she was talking to me, Nick Jonas.
I was too old, but I do find them all reasonably handsome.
They are so handsome now. Kevin is like so cute with his curly hair now. Kevin glued up.
think glued. Yeah. It's kind of like the Hansons. He ended up being the hot one. The oldest one always ends up being the hot one.
Is it me?
No, it's you. It's you.
Obviously bad special effects or stunts. Zach said our lip
canoe.
syncing. Our laughing with
sound syncing is so bad.
Yeah, it's rough.
Oh my God. Woof.
Disney Channel stars.
So many.
So many.
Uh-oh. Musical numbers. Yay.
How many musical numbers?
A lot.
A lot. Yeah.
A lot. I mean, they did a full-blown talent show at the end.
Yeah.
Like 4 numbers.
I need the extended version of Camp Rock where we see everyone's audition or everyone's final. Yeah. Magic.
No
magic. Just
No
the magic
magic.
of music.
Music is the real magic.
Yeah.
That's right.
Someone says the title of the movie.
They said
So
it like
many
18
times.
in the
18
first
times.
20 minutes.
Yeah. Going into this, the only 2 things I knew were the 2 memes of Camp Rock Camp Rock, which that's not even this one, that's the second one. And then
Yep.
she's really good.
I love it.
Scooby Dude.
There isn't
Kind of.
but there's not much to Scooby-Doo.
No,
Yeah.
we don't have to count it.
If anything, Tess Scooby-Doo's.
Yeah.
That's
she
true.
figures
She
it out.
does. She does. She gets them good.
Yep. The heroes create the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Lead as a fish out of water.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she is.
Absolutely.
She's poor.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Mommy, I'm poor.
Go back to the kitchen, poor. Put on a hairnet, poor.
Well, friends, the goodest of news, we have 2 bingos for Camp Rock.
Wow.
We have clothes or items you owned, Rotten Tomatoes 40 to 60, happily ever after, almost kissing someone who became famous. That's our 3rd line down. And our 4th line down, betraying of one's real friends or values, your childhood crush, obviously bad special effects or stunts, Disney Channel star, and musical number.
Yay, all my favorites.
Which leads us to my game of Which Camp? And so you're going to have 30 seconds and you're going to create your dream camp.
Okay.
So your camp is going to be the theme of the camp, the where is your camp, and your famous celebrity that is going to join your camp. And you have 30 seconds.
Oh,
boy.
great.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Go. Stop. Okay, I'm going to go first. For which camp? My camp is a book camp where you go and you just read books the whole time. It is in Vermont, takes place in the fall, so you get a good trees. Not a summer camp, it's a fall book camp. And famous celebrity Harry Styles is coming. To no one's surprise, because he is a source of a lot of fan fiction and movies that come out about that said fan fiction. And I think it'd be really fun to have him there. That is book camp.
Love it.
Camp
Love
book.
Love it.
Camp book. Camp book. Okay, Zach.
Sure. I went back and forth in my head a lot, but I think I settled on game camp. And that can be, so it can be anything, video games, board games, card games, whatever you want. Nerd camp, basically. And it is in Hawaii.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that you can just step outside and still get some sun for 5 minutes and then go right back in and keep playing those games. And the special guest star is going to be Henry Cavill because he's also a really big nerd.
No way.
And he loves lore and storytelling and really gets into like characters and their motivations and like world building. So I think that he would be great because a whole facet of this game camp would be diving into creating your own games. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it. Val,
Love that.
camp?
Okay, my camp would be water camp, where we exclusively did water activities.
Okay.
Okay.
I was the waterfront director at my camp.
Oh, that makes
I
sense.
love sailing, kayaking, swimming, water skiing, wakeboarding, etc., etc.
Nice.
Oh, and location would be Mackinac Island because it's a fun place where they don't allow cars and there's lots of fun candy shops and other stuff. So that'd be fun. And it's right on Lake Superior. So there's plenty of water.
Mm-hmm.
And I went all over the place with celebrities, but I ultimately just decided to pick Olivia Colman because I love her. And for
what a sweet-
literally no other reason than she's
Great.
the greatest.
Great. Yeah. Love
Perfect.
her.
Yeah. She'd be great at water camp.
She'd love water camp.
We love water camp.
That'd be great. Well, thank you for playing Which Camp. Maybe we'll have our listeners vote on our Instagram of which camp they would attend.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. One, it was so good to see your face because I do miss you so much, but I will see you in 2 months. But also for being our biggest fan. It is true. You are here. You are our biggest fan.
Oh, well, thanks. It's been literally a dream come true to be here. Thanks for finally having me. I hope
He says finally, like we didn't have plans to get him on here at some point.
I know, but it was a long time coming. Hopefully I'll see you again for Camp Rock 2. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wow. Val, what are we watching next week?
We are watching Cheetah Girls, One World.
Wow.
Ooh.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun, dun. There's a 3rd Cheetah Girls. Awesome. Remember to like, subscribe, tell your mom. Zach, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh gosh. So I post on social media like once every 6 months, maybe.
That's true. And your post is, I'm going to be better at social media.
Every time. So if you want to find me on Instagram, I believe my handle is Zach T. Roberts. That's ZACH, the letter T, ROBERTS. I used to stream myself playing video games. So if you want to see me playing Kingdom Hearts, Zelda, or any of my other nerdy stuff, I am on twitch.com/Rixacaz. That's RYXACHAZ. I haven't streamed in a while, but that's yet another thing that I'm hoping I can bring back soon once we have a little more space in our apartment.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And I now know how to say that name because that's not always in my head.
It's a Kingdom Hearts reference. Wink.
Okay. Wink, wink. Well, love you so much endlessly, Zach. Val, love you so much endlessly. And I hope everyone has good until we see you next. Bye, Val.
Bye, Al. Bye, Zach.
Bye, ladies.
This podcast was produced by me.
And me.
And it was edited by me.
The music was composed by Michael McNally.
You can find us online at thetridentnetwork.com/DCOMmentaries-pod.
And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at DCOMmentaries.
DCOMmentaries is a part of the Trident Network. To learn more about our videos, live shows, and other podcasts, please visit thetridentnetwork.com.
Disney Channel original movies.
Damn it, Allie.